Hey, everybody. I think I'm live. All right. So today I want to talk about rest, resilience, peace, trust when the world kind of feels upside down. And let's be honest, doesn't it feel like the world's kind of been upside down since COVID? Like it feels like it's been that way for a few years at this point. But particularly in the last few months, over and over, I sense and I hear from friends, from clients, from colleagues, this low level of exhaustion between politics. If you're not in the US, we're having a lot of political friction coming up with this election that's about to happen in a month or two. Wars, systemic struggles, family tragedies, and drama, and all this work that we have to do, both the inner work of trying to stay regulated and resilient through this and trying to like expand ourselves and keep growing no matter what, and the outer work of trying to fix our lives, grow our businesses, raise our kids, like all that stuff. Like between that inner and that outer work and holding all the shit, between like this sense of having to continuously prove and improve ourselves, of trying to stay uplifted through all the collective dysfunction, just a lot of us, including myself to some degree, are exhausted. And so the first thing I want to say here is I want to normalize that experience. Like if this is you and you've been feeling more drained, like your capacity is smaller, like you're having more doubt, or you're having more anxiety, or you're not sleeping as well as you used to, or finding it harder to take care of yourself in as empowered a way as you used to. First of all, I want to just say, like, welcome to being human. Like, I think a lot of us are experiencing that. But here's the thing, we cannot create joyful, easeful, peaceful, and abundant futures by sacrificing joy, ease, abundance, peace in the present. If you followed me for a while, you have heard me say that we cannot create the future we desire by being at war with the present. It just doesn't work. Just like we can't create expansion from a place of contraction. So, true fulfillment comes essentially from finding a sense of rest, a sense of peace, even in this upside down world. It comes from discovering our sacred ground right here, right now, in things exactly as they are. And I know, easier said than done. This peace, this rest, this trust comes from essentially realizing at a deep level, like in your bones, that you are your own home, already and always. That literally there's nowhere to get to, no one to become, there's nothing broken in you that needs fixing, that you are your own home. You are at home with yourself. And when you have an embodied realization of that, not just a mental and intellectual realization of that, but really a felt sense, an embodied realization of that, what happens is that you actually are able to fall back into what I call the inexhaustible ground of safety. And you begin from this place of being anchored and held by that ground of safety. You begin to be able to trust life, even when it makes no fucking sense at all. And you begin to be able to actually stay anchored in that safety, in that trust, no matter what, and be nourished by it, be revitalized by it so that you can literally continue and move from it and show up. And this is when, a lot of my clients they're healers, they're impactful leaders, they're here to make a difference. When you're able to do that, I'm not talking too much about the nervous system in this video, but essentially, like, when you're able to do that, your nervous system is totally regulated. It's been liberated. It's anchored in expansion, and your identity is anchored in the expanded state. When you're able to move and be anchored from that ground of safety, from that trust, your presence becomes a healing ball. Your presence become what impacts the world. You don't actually have to do anything. You become magnetic. You become like that lighthouse that is just beaming out its light in the dark storm. It doesn't have to try. It's like your presence, just you being you in the fullness of you, becomes not only an anchor for yourself, but it becomes an anchor for those around you, whether that's clients, potential clients, people who watch your videos and read your posts in marketing, your kids, your family members, your friends, and even on an energetic level, just like your community, the world. When you're able to do that with this realization that you are your own home and you're able to like anchor in safety and trust, you also learn to start to take action and move and create from this place rather than moving and taking action and trying to create from a sense of lack, from a sense of overwhelm or anxiety, or even from a sense of not enoughness. And that's when, because you're moving from this flow, that's when every resistance, because you're moving from rest and resilience, resistance starts to dissolve, and everything, including the results you want, start to flow. Everything starts to become simple because it's in alignment. You're aligned with it. Your core, your nervous system is in alignment with what you want to create. There's no rub anymore. And this is when like the entire process becomes significantly more fulfilling and more easeful, more simple, all of that. So when we learn to achieve, to receive, to hold from rest, from peace, from trust, from our zone of comfort, so to speak. And here's what happened. It's not that you stay in your comfort zone, but when you are anchored in that unwavering ground of safety and you're able to start to trust and move from that trust, then your zone of comfort expands. And as your zone of comfort expands, so does your zone of capacity. So that's when creating a life, a business that nourishes you and is actually in complete alignment with you becomes possible. That's when you also are able to receive, achieve, and hold more because you're holding it from rest, from peace. And that's also when you start to see like all the work you've put out there, you start to see the return of that, the results start to flow in again, because suddenly as your comfort zone has increased, so has your capacity. That's also when you start to be able to make and earn what I call supportive money, which essentially just means more revenue, more profit from this place of peace without having to sacrifice yourself, without having to push, to pull, to hustle, to feel overwhelmed, to work harder or more hours. So, this ground of safety, this ground of trust, this ground of peace, of being able to essentially come back to rest and resilience in the midst of chaos is actually really the foundation to success. It is what leads you to the freedom, to the flow, to the nourishment and significance that you have been wanting to have for yourself and for your family, for the world. And that, my friend, is actually what success really is. So, the path to this, in many ways, is nervous system work. Like finding that ground of safety, finding a sense of being at home in yourself, of seeing that you don't have to become someone else. Who you are meant to become is already here. Just like the oak already exists in the acorn, just like the butterfly already exists within like the metamorphosis. So when you start to realize there's nothing broken in me, I don't have to get somewhere else. I don't have to become someone else. I am safe with me. When you start to be safe with yourself, you start to be safe in the world. And interestingly enough, what happens is this world starts to be safe with you. And that's when we get into this place of co-expansion, co-regulation. That's when everything starts to expand naturally because you feel safe with more and people feel safe with experiencing more with you. Whether that's intimate relationships or whether that's client paying you more money than you ever dreamed of, it doesn't matter. So safety is always the foundation of success. Just like that resilience, that rest is kind of the foundation of creating higher revenue and doing it in a way that feels really good, really nourishing, and really supportive, both to your soul, to your body, and to your bank account. So if you would like to do this work with me, you'd like to experience this nervous system expansion and regulation work. If you would want to find the sense of peace, of freedom, of rest and resilience, of trust, of clarity in your life and in your business, no matter what's going on, then I want to invite you to have a session with me. I have usually 2 to 4 Wired for Wealth intensives open every month for new clients. It's 90 minutes to a little more, one-on-one with me. It's at a 55% saving from my usual rate. And during this intensive, we literally explore and figure out exactly where your nervous system is in contraction, where you're stuck, what's holding you back, what's keeping you from being able to anchor into that ground of safety, into that trust. And then I take you step by step through the most powerful process I've ever invented. And it will show you exactly how to bring yourself back into that unwavering ground of safety, how to anchor your identity in expansion, and how to come out of the sense of contraction and not enoughness into a place of relaxation, liberation, and expansion. So if you want to experience this, you can get all the details. Just click the link in the description of this video and let's do some deep fucking work together and make sure to set like the last bit of this year and 2025 up for some real thriving, some real movements, some real peace that is beyond a place of being able to shake you. I want to help you become unshakable, and be the most peaceful and powerful force in your life and in your business so that you can create both the internal shifts you want to make, but also have the kind of influence and significance you want your life to have externally. All right, that's what I have for you. I hope this was helpful. Mwah. Happy October, and I will talk to you soon.